All right. Ready to take a deep dive into the world of import-export.
Let's do it.
We're talking furniture, carpets, lighting. We've got
Okay.
that interview coming up for an import-export specialist role, and we're here to give you that extra edge using RoleCatcher's guides.
Absolutely.
We're not just going to scratch the surface here.
Yeah.
We're going to really understand what makes this industry tick.
Yeah.
Think global supply chains,
Mm-hmm.
those gorgeous hand-knotted rugs coming in from overseas, the trendy light fixtures everyone wants.
Yeah.
You're the one making it all happen.
It's a fast-paced world,
It is.
for sure. And with global demand constantly rising, this career path is hotter than ever.
Which is why you're smart to be prepping.
Yes.
So we're going to break down those common interview questions,
Okay.
but we're going deeper.
Hmm.
We're going to reveal what those interviewers are really looking for and how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your responses like a pro.
That's right.
Plus, we'll sprinkle in some career insights from RoleCatcher's guides.
Yeah.
Give you that big picture of this exciting field.
Awesome. Let's unpack those questions.
Okay, first up,
Okay.
describe your experience with the import and export of furniture, carpets, and lighting equipment.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward,
It does.
right?
Yeah.
But I bet there's more to it.
Absolutely. The interviewer isn't just checking boxes here.
Right.
They want to know if you've actually been in the trenches.
Okay.
Have you had to deal with damaged goods arriving? How'd you handle that? Did you have to navigate tricky customs regulations for maybe some antique furniture?
Interesting.
These are the stories that reveal your problem-solving skills and your industry know-how.
Okay, so it's about showcasing those battle scars.
Yes.
Those moments where you really had to think on your feet.
Exactly.
What are some subtle clues that separate someone who's lived this job
Right?
from someone who's just read about it in a book?
It's all in the details. Someone with genuine experience might just casually mention the challenges of sourcing sustainable materials for carpets, or maybe talk about those Incoterms.
Incoterms.
Yes, those international trade terms that determine who's responsible for what costs and risks.
Okay, Incoterms got to meet. Need a little refresher on that one.
Sure.
Can you give us like a quick explanation
Yeah.
on why those are so crucial for an import-export specialist?
Imagine you're importing a shipment of lighting from Italy.
Okay.
Incoterms clarify things like who pays for the transport, who's responsible if something gets damaged in transit, even who handles the customs clearance.
Oh, wow.
Without a clear understanding of these terms, you risk miscommunication delays, costly mistakes.
Those Incoterms are way more important than I realized.
They are.
Okay, so back to crafting that perfect answer.
Yes.
What are some common traps that people fall into when they're responding to this question about experience?
Don't just rattle off a list of job duties.
Correct.
Instead, share a specific anecdote that highlights your expertise. So instead of saying, I handled import-export documentation, you could say something like, I once discovered a discrepancy in the paperwork for a shipment, and it could have delayed customs clearance. I quickly identified the issue, contacted the supplier, and resolved the problem, saving the company valuable time and money.
Oh, I like that.
You see the difference.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's about showcasing those moments where you went above and beyond.
Right.
And speaking of showcasing your expertise, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your response and suggest ways to make it even stronger, right?
Exactly. It's like having a personal career coach who understands the nuances of this specific role. It can even suggest industry keywords to sprinkle into your answer, making sure you're speaking the interviewer's language.
That's brilliant.
Oh.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. How do you stay up to date on industry regulations and compliance requirements? I imagine that's a never-ending challenge in this field.
It is. The landscape is constantly evolving with new trade agreements, changing tariffs, updated safety standards. This question is your chance to prove you're proactive and dedicated to staying ahead of the curve.
So it's not enough to just say, I Google it when I need to.
Definitely not. That just makes you sound reactive, and it doesn't inspire confidence.
Right.
Instead, you want to showcase your commitment to continuous learning.
Okay.
You can mention specific industry publications you read,
Like what?
things like the Journal of Commerce or Global Trade magazine.
Okay.
You could even reference a recent regulatory change and how you adapted your work to stay compliant.
Okay, so it's about showing that you're actively engaged with the industry's pulse.
Exactly.
What about professional organizations?
Yes.
Are those worth mentioning?
Absolutely. Joining organizations like the National Customs Brokers and Forwarders Association of America or the International Trade Association demonstrates your dedication to professional growth.
Okay.
Plus, it's a great way to network and stay informed about industry trends.
Now, I'm curious, does RoleCatcher's AI factor in these professional development aspects when it's tailoring your answers?
It does. When you input your experience, RoleCatcher's AI identifies potential areas where you can bolster your profile.
Hmm?
So if a job description emphasizes knowledge of specific trade agreements, RoleCatcher might suggest relevant courses or certifications to consider.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a personalized roadmap for career advancement.
That's incredibly helpful, especially in a field as complex as import-export.
Yes.
Okay, before we move on to the next question, I want to touch on something from the career guide that caught my eye.
Okay.
The work environment.
Yeah.
The guide mentions this job can have you in a swanky office one day, out on the docks the next.
Right.
What kind of personality thrives in a setting like that?
You got to be adaptable.
Okay.
Comfortable with a dynamic environment.
Right.
One day you might be analyzing data, the next you could be inspecting shipments at a warehouse.
Wow.
It's a perfect fit for someone who enjoys a blend of intellectual and hands-on work. And let's not forget the people skills. You'll be interacting with a diverse range of personalities, from suppliers and customs officials to logistics coordinators and clients.
So strong communication and relationship building skills are essential.
They are.
Sounds like it's a perfect blend for someone who's both analytical and outgoing.
Yes.
Okay, back to those interview questions.
Okay.
Number 3, can you describe your experience with negotiating contracts with foreign suppliers? This is where the global aspect really comes into play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This question is all about your negotiation skills and cultural intelligence.
Okay.
The interviewer wants to see if you can secure favorable terms while building strong, long-term relationships.
I imagine cultural nuances play a huge role here.
They do.
What are some clues that reveal that someone is a master negotiator in this import-export world?
A savvy negotiator understands that it's not just about getting the lowest price. It's about building trust and mutual benefit.
Right.
They'll highlight their ability to research cultural norms, understand a supplier's motivations, and find creative win-win solutions.
Okay.
For example, they might share a story about how they secured a better price by offering a longer contract term, or by understanding a supplier's need for faster payment terms.
So it's a delicate dance of being assertive, but also culturally sensitive.
It is.
What are some common blunders people make when answering this question?
Bragging about always winning is a major red flag.
Okay.
It suggests a lack of collaboration and a focus on short-term gains over long-term partnerships.
Got it.
Also, avoid focusing solely on price.
Okay.
Experienced negotiators understand that quality, reliability, and timely delivery are equally crucial.
Okay, so it's about taking a holistic approach to negotiation.
Yes.
Considering all the factors at play.
Exactly.
Now, I know we've talked about RoleCatcher's AI helping with specific answers, but can it also provide guidance on those subtle cultural aspects of negotiation?
It can. RoleCatcher's AI is constantly being updated with data on global business practices and cultural nuances. It can even provide insights into negotiation styles common in specific regions, helping you tailor your approach accordingly.
That's incredible. It's like having a cultural advisor right there in your pocket.
It is.
Okay, before we jump into the next question, I'm curious about the pros and cons section of the career guide.
Right.
It mentions high earning potential as a major plus.
Yes.
But it also highlights fluctuating exchange rates as a potential downside.
Right.
Is this a career for someone who enjoys a bit of risk?
That's a great question. While the import-export field offers exciting opportunities for financial growth,
Okay.
you're right, there are inherent risks. Currency fluctuations can impact profit margins, and unforeseen events like political instability or natural disasters can disrupt supply chains.
So you need to be comfortable with a certain level of uncertainty.
You do.
Yeah.
It's not about being reckless. It's about being informed, adaptable, and able to make strategic decisions when faced with unexpected challenges.
Okay.
This is where staying updated on global news and economic trends becomes vital.
Makes sense. You've got to be able to roll with the punches in this global arena.
Yes.
Okay, let's tackle question number 4. Can you describe your experience with customs clearance and documentation? This sounds like the nitty-gritty heart of import-export operations.
It is. This question probes your knowledge of those often complex procedures for legally and efficiently getting goods across borders.
Okay.
Think commercial invoices packing, lists, certificates of origin.
Right.
Each document plays a critical role.
Okay, let's break it down. For those who aren't familiar with these documents, what's a quick explanation of why they're so crucial?
Imagine these documents as your shipment's passport and visa.
Okay.
The commercial invoice, for example, details the goods being shipped, their value, and the terms of sale.
Hmm.
The packing list outlines what's inside each box or container, helping customs officials verify the contents.
Mm-hmm.
And certificates of origin prove where the goods were manufactured, which is crucial for applying the correct tariffs and complying with trade agreements.
Wow, so each document has a specific purpose
It does.
and plays a critical role in the process.
Absolutely.
What are some signs that someone truly understands the ins and outs of customs clearance?
They'll go beyond simply listing document names.
Okay.
They might mention specific software programs they've used to manage these documents, like a global trade management system.
Okay.
They'll also highlight their meticulous attention to detail their organizational skills and their ability to troubleshoot any discrepancies that arise.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, even a minor error in documentation can lead to costly delays or even legal repercussions.
Yeah. So it's a high-stakes game where accuracy is paramount.
It is.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid when answering this question?
Never downplay the importance of compliance.
Okay.
Saying something like, I just try to get it done as quickly as possible, raises red flags.
Ah,
It suggests you might prioritize speed over accuracy, which is a risky approach in this field.
right.
Also, avoid blaming others for past mistakes.
Okay.
Instead, focus on lessons learned and how you've improved your processes.
Got it. It's about demonstrating both expertise and a commitment to doing things by the book.
Exactly.
Now, before we delve into a sample response, I'm curious, how does RoleCatcher's AI help with this aspect of interview prep?
RoleCatcher's AI is fantastic for this. It analyzes the job description and highlights any specific customs regulations or documentation requirements mentioned.
Okay.
This ensures you're prepared to discuss those details and demonstrate your knowledge of the specific legal framework relevant to the role.
That's so valuable. It's like having a customized study guide that zeroes in on exactly what the interviewer might ask.
It is.
Okay, let's hear that sample response to get the wheels turning.
You could say something like, I'm highly proficient in preparing and submitting all necessary customs documentation, including commercial invoices, packing lists, certificates of origin, and electronic export information filings. I'm also well-versed in using software like Name of Software to manage this process efficiently. In my previous role, I implemented a system for double-checking all documentation before submission, which reduced errors and expedited customs clearance.
Perfect. That clearly showcases your expertise and your proactive approach to ensuring accuracy.
Right.
Okay, on to question number 5. How do you manage the logistics of international shipments? This sounds like it could involve juggling a lot of moving parts.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
We're talking about coordinating freight forwarders, shipping lines, trucking companies, customs brokers all across different time zones and with varying levels of reliability.
Yeah.
This question is about your ability to manage complexity, solve problems, and keep those goods flowing seamlessly across the globe.
Speaking of managing all these moving parts,
Yeah,
the guide mentions this job can take you from a swanky office to a bustling port.
it does.
What are some insights about the work environment that might surprise someone considering this career?
It's a fascinating blend. You might be negotiating contracts in a corporate setting one day and overseeing the loading of cargo at a port the next.
Wow.
This diversity attracts people who enjoy a mix of intellectual and hands-on experiences, but it also demands flexibility and adaptability.
So you need to be comfortable with a bit of unpredictability.
Absolutely. Delays happen, weather disrupts shipping routes. Unexpected customs inspections pop up.
Oh, yeah?
You need to be able to think on your feet, problem solve effectively, and maintain a cool head under pressure.
Okay, so back to the logistics question. What are some hallmarks of someone who can truly handle the pressure of coordinating those international shipments?
A strong candidate will highlight their organizational skills,
Okay.
their ability to anticipate potential problems, and their resourcefulness in finding solutions when things inevitably go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They'll likely talk about their experience with tracking shipments, communicating effectively with various parties, and negotiating favorable rates.
Okay.
They might even mention specific instances where they had to think outside the box to reroute a shipment or resolve a customs delay.
So it's not just about knowing the process.
Right.
It's about having the resilience and quick thinking to navigate those unexpected bumps in the road.
Exactly.
What are some things to steer clear of when answering this question?
Avoid sounding disorganized or easily flustered.
Right.
Don't say things like, I usually just hope for the best, or
Yeah.
I tend to get overwhelmed when things go wrong.
Got it.
Instead, focus on your problem-solving skills and your ability to collaborate effectively to find solutions.
Got it. It's about taking ownership and demonstrating your ability to handle those inevitable curveballs.
Yes.
Now, before we jump into a sample answer, I want to touch on something that might help listeners gain an edge.
Right.
The career guide mentions that advancement often involves specializing in a particular area.
It does.
What are some common specializations within import-export?
There are many paths you can take. Some people focus on specific product categories,
Okay.
becoming experts in importing textiles, electronics, or even perishable goods.
Interesting.
Others specialize in certain geographic region,
Uh-huh.
mastering the intricacies of trade with Europe, Asia, or South America.
Mm-hmm.
Still others delve into specialized areas like compliance logistics or international finance.
So there's room for people with a wide range of interests.
Absolutely. The key is to identify your passions and strengths and align them with a specialization that excites you. This can make you a more valuable asset to employers and open doors to exciting career opportunities down the line.
That's great advice. It's not just about getting the job.
Right.
It's about envisioning where you want to take your career in the long run.
Exactly.
Okay, let's hear that sample response to the logistics question.
You could say something like, I have a proven track record of managing the logistics of international shipments, ensuring on-time delivery while minimizing costs. I'm experienced in working with freight forwarders, negotiating shipping rates, and tracking shipments using online platforms. In a recent instance, a shipment of furniture was delayed due to a port strike. I quickly identified alternative shipping options, communicated clearly with all parties involved, and ensured minimal disruption to the delivery schedule.
That's a fantastic example. It shows you're proactive, resourceful, and a clear communicator.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, I have a question that popped into my head while we were discussing specializations.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes.
Can it help someone identify potential specializations based on their existing skills and experience?
It absolutely can. RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your profile and suggests related career paths you might not have even considered.
Okay.
For example, if you've got a background in accounting,
Mm-hmm.
it might highlight opportunities in international finance or trade compliance.
Interesting.
It's a fantastic way to broaden your horizons and explore different avenues within the import-export world.
That's so helpful. It's like having a career counselor who can see potential you might not even realize you have.
Yes.
Okay, let's tackle question number 6. Can you explain how you ensure cost-effective import and export operations? This is where those money-saving skills come into play.
It is. This question is all about showcasing your understanding of the many factors that influence the cost of import-export.
Mm-hmm.
Think shipping methods, packaging optimization, negotiating savvy deals.
Right.
Every detail counts.
Okay, let's unpack this. What are some strategies that really impress interviewers when it comes to discussing cost-effective operations?
A candidate who stands out here will demonstrate their knowledge of different shipping methods.
Right.
Air freight versus ocean freight, for example.
Okay.
And their ability to choose the most cost-effective option based on the specific needs of the shipment.
Mm.
They'll also likely talk about their experience with negotiating favorable rates with freight forwarders and optimizing packaging and container loading to minimize wasted space.
So it's about seeing the big picture
Yes,
and understanding how each decision impacts the bottom line.
exactly.
What are some things to avoid saying when answering this question?
Don't suggest cutting corners that could compromise quality or compliance.
Okay.
For example, saying, I always choose the cheapest shipping option regardless of reliability, raises red flags.
Right.
It suggests you might prioritize cost savings over ensuring that goods arrive on time and in good condition.
Makes sense. It's about finding that sweet spot between efficiency and maintaining high standards.
It is.
Now, before we delve into a sampler response, let's touch on another aspect of the career, guide the potential for advancement.
Okay.
What are some realistic career progression goals for someone entering the import-export field?
Within a few years, you could move from an entry-level specialist role to a supervisory or management position.
Okay.
You might oversee a team of import-export coordinators or manage a specific aspect of the supply chain like logistics or compliance. With further experience and specialization, you could even aim for leadership roles, such as import-export manager, director of global logistics, or even chief supply chain officer.
So there's a clear path for growth and advancement for those who are ambitious and driven.
Absolutely. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you map out your career trajectory based on your current skills and aspirations.
That's fantastic. It's like having a personalized career GPS guiding you towards your goals.
It is.
Okay, let's hear that sample response to the cost-effectiveness question.
You could say something like, I have a keen eye for identifying cost-saving opportunities throughout the import-export process. I'm skilled in negotiating with freight forwarders, optimizing container loading to minimize wasted space, and utilizing technology to automate processes and reduce manual errors. In my previous role, I implemented a new system for tracking and analyzing shipping costs, which resulted in a 10% reduction in overall freight expenses.
That's a great example. It highlights your strategic approach and your ability to deliver tangible results.
Right.
Now let's move on to question number 7. Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a complex issue related to import or export regulations? This sounds like it could get pretty intense.
It can. This is a classic behavioral interview question designed to assess your problem-solving skills, your ability to think critically under pressure, and your in-depth knowledge of import-export regulations.
Okay.
They're looking for a real-life story that showcases your expertise in action.
Okay, let's dig into this.
Yeah.
What are the key things interviewers are looking for when you describe a challenging situation?
They want to hear a clear, concise, and compelling narrative.
Okay.
Set the scene, describe the problem, outline the steps you took to resolve it, and highlight the positive outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to mention the specific regulations involved and how you ensured compliance.
Okay.
The STAR method is helpful here. Situation, task, action, and result.
So it's about structuring your story in a way that's easy to follow and highlights your skills and accomplishments.
Exactly.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid?
Don't choose an example that makes you look careless or incompetent.
Okay.
Avoid saying things like, I completely missed a crucial detail in the documentation, or I panicked and didn't know what to do.
Right?
Instead, choose a situation where you faced a genuine challenge, took decisive action, and learned valuable lessons along the way.
Great advice. It's about turning a potential negative into a positive learning experience.
It is.
All right, before we hear that sample response, let's touch on something we discussed earlier, the importance of staying up to date on industry regulations. The Career Guide highlights the importance of professional development in this field.
It does.
What are some resources that can help someone stay ahead of the curve?
There are a wealth of resources available. Subscribing to industry publications, attending webinars and conferences, and participating in online forums can keep you informed about emerging trends and regulatory changes.
Okay.
And of course, professional certifications demonstrate your commitment to ongoing learning and can give you a competitive edge in the job market.
So it's about actively seeking out knowledge and staying engaged with the industry.
It is.
Now back to that sample response.
Yeah.
What's a strong example of how to answer this question about resolving a complex regulatory issue?
You could say something like, in my previous role, we encountered a situation where a shipment of carpets was held up at customs due to a discrepancy in the certificate of origin.
Okay.
I immediately contacted the supplier to verify the information, researched the relevant regulations, and worked closely with the customs broker to provide the necessary documentation. After a few days of persistent effort, the issue was resolved and the shipment was released. This experience reinforced the importance of meticulous documentation and proactive communication.
That's a fantastic example. It demonstrates your problem-solving skills, your attention to detail, and your ability to stay calm under pressure.
Yes.
Okay, before we move on to the next question, I have one for you.
All right.
We've discussed the importance of specialization,
Yes.
but how does someone go about choosing the right path for them?
That's a great question. It's about self-reflection and research.
Okay.
Consider your interests, your skills, and your long-term career goals. Do you enjoy working with specific types of products? Are you fascinated by a particular region of the world? Do you thrive on the analytical challenges of compliance or the fast-paced world of logistics?
So it's about matching your passions and strengths with a specialization that aligns with your career aspirations.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you explore different options based on your profile and suggest related career paths you might not have even considered. It's a fantastic tool for expanding your horizons and making informed decisions about your future.
That's incredible. It's like having a personalized career compass guiding you toward the path that's most fulfilling for you.
It is.
Okay, let's tackle question number 8. How do you ensure that suppliers meet quality standards for furniture, carpets, and lighting equipment? This is where that discerning eye comes into play.
It is. This question is all about quality control and your ability to maintain high standards throughout the supply chain.
Okay.
You need to showcase your understanding of supplier vetting, establishing clear quality criteria, conducting inspections, and implementing procedures for addressing any issues that arise.
So you're essentially the guardian of quality, making sure those imported goods meet the expectations of customers.
I am.
What are some clues that reveal someone's a true quality champion in the import-export world?
They'll go beyond simply saying they check the goods. They'll detail their process for vetting suppliers,
Mm.
outlining the criteria they use to assess the supplier's reliability and commitment to quality.
Mm-hmm.
They might mention specific quality control certifications they look for or describe their experience with conducting on-site inspections at manufacturing facilities.
Okay.
They'll also highlight their ability to establish clear quality standards in contracts and their process for addressing any quality discrepancies that arise.
So it's a proactive approach to quality management,
Yes,
not just a reactive response to problems.
exactly.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid when answering this question?
Don't come across as passive or uninformed.
Right.
Avoid saying things like, I just trust our suppliers to do the right thing, or I'm not really sure what the quality standards are.
Right.
Also, avoid blaming suppliers for all quality issues.
Okay.
It's important to acknowledge that problems can occur on both sides and highlight your collaborative approach to finding solutions.
Right. It's about working in partnership with suppliers to ensure consistently high standards. Now, before we dive into a sample response, I want to touch on something that's been on my mind throughout this discussion.
Right.
The career guide emphasizes the importance of networking in the import-export field.
It does.
Why is this so crucial?
Networking is essential for so many reasons. It allows you to connect with industry professionals, learn from their experiences, stay informed about job openings, and build relationships that can benefit your career in countless ways.
So it's about building a community of support and knowledge sharing.
It is.
What are some effective ways to network in this field?
Attending industry events like trade shows and conferences is a fantastic way to meet people face-to-face. Joining professional organizations like the National Customs Brokers and Forwarders Association of America or the International Trade Association provides opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals.
Okay.
And don't underestimate the power of online networking through platforms like LinkedIn.
That's great advice. Building a strong network can open doors to opportunities you might never have discovered otherwise. Okay, let's hear that sample response to the quality standards question.
You could say something like, I have a robust system for ensuring that all suppliers meet our stringent quality standards. I carefully vet potential suppliers, including on-site visits to their facilities to assess their production processes and quality control measures.
Yeah.
I establish clear quality criteria in our contracts and conduct regular inspections of incoming goods to verify compliance. I'm also familiar with industry standard quality control certifications such as ISO 9001 and ensure our suppliers maintain these certifications.
Mm-hmm.
In a previous instance, we identified a quality issue with a shipment of lighting fixtures. I worked directly with the supplier to identify the root cause, implement corrective actions, and ensure all future shipments met our standards.
That's a fantastic response. It clearly demonstrates your commitment to quality and your ability to handle challenging situations effectively.
Right.
Okay, before we move on to the next set of questions, I want to pause for a moment and remind everyone about a feature in RoleCatcher that can really boost your confidence during interview prep.
Okay, which one?
You're talking about the AI video practice, right?
Yes.
Because it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it.
Right.
RoleCatcher allows you to record yourself answering these tough questions and get feedback on your delivery, your body language, everything.
It's like having a virtual mock interview that helps you refine your presentation and project confidence.
It's an incredibly valuable tool, especially for a career where first impressions matter so much.
They do.
It is.
And it's not just about the technical content of your answers.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can even provide feedback on your tone of voice and nonverbal cues, ensuring you're conveying enthusiasm, professionalism, and a genuine passion for the field.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal presentation coach in your pocket.
It is.
Okay, let's delve into question number 9. Can you describe your experience with managing a team of import-export specialists? This one might not be relevant for everyone listening, but it's crucial if you're aiming for a leadership role.
It is. And remember, even if you're not currently in a management position, you can still showcase leadership qualities through your experiences in teamwork, collaboration, and taking initiative.
So even if I haven't been the official boss,
Yeah.
I can still showcase those leadership moments.
Absolutely. Think about projects where you took the lead, mentored a colleague, or came up with a process improvement that benefited the team.
So-
Those are all examples of leadership in action.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about those essential leadership qualities that really make an interviewer sit up and take notice?
It's about more than just giving orders.
Right.
They're looking for someone who can inspire, motivate, and guide their team to success.
Okay.
A great answer will highlight your experience with delegating tasks, effectively providing constructive feedback, fostering a positive team environment, and mentoring team members to develop their skills.
Hmm.
Specific examples of how you've led your team to achieve goals, overcome challenges, or implement process improvements are always impressive.
So it's about being a coach, a mentor, and a cheerleader all rolled into one.
Exactly. Think about times you've helped a colleague develop their skills, resolved a conflict within a team, or came up with a creative solution that benefited everyone.
Got
Those are the stories that demonstrate your leadership potential.
Okay, that's helpful. Now I'm curious about something we touched on earlier, the importance of staying current with technology in this field.
Yes.
The career guide emphasizes that import-export is constantly evolving with new tech advancements.
Right.
What are some essential tools or trends that someone aspiring to be a leader in this field should have on their radar?
Technology is transforming import-export at an incredible pace.
It is.
From cloud-based supply chain management systems that provide real-time visibility to blockchain platforms that enhance security and transparency.
Wow.
The future is all about leveraging tech to streamline processes and gain a competitive advantage.
Wow, it sounds like staying tech.
Savvy is crucial for anyone serious about a long-term career in this field.
Are there specific tools or skills that are particularly in demand right now?
Absolutely. Familiarity with global trade management systems, which help automate documentation and ensure compliance, is becoming increasingly essential.
Okay.
And as data analytics plays a larger role in optimizing supply chains,
Right.
having a strong understanding of data visualization tools and the ability to draw insights from complex data sets is highly valuable.
So it's not just about understanding the physical movement of goods.
Right.
It's about mastering the digital tools that drive efficiency and decision-making.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme here. Continuous learning is key in this field.
You got it. The import-export landscape is constantly evolving, so embracing a growth mindset and a thirst for knowledge is essential for staying ahead of the curve.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, let's loop back to RoleCatcher's AI. Can it help someone identify those in-demand tech skills and suggest ways to develop them?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI is constantly being updated with the latest industry trends and skill requirements.
Yep.
When you input your experience, it can suggest relevant courses, certifications, or even online resources to help you gain those sought-after tech skills.
That's incredible. It's like having a personalized tech advisor guiding your professional development.
It is.
Okay, before we get sidetracked by all the cool tech stuff, let's get back to those interview questions.
Okay.
What's a strong example of how someone could answer that leadership question?
Sure. Imagine the interviewer asks, can you describe your experience with managing a team of import-export specialists?
Okay.
You could say something like, in my previous role, I led a team of 4 import-export coordinators responsible for shipments to the European market.
Okay.
I focused on fostering a collaborative environment where everyone felt comfortable sharing their ideas and contributing their expertise. We implemented a new system for tracking shipment milestones, which improved communication and reduced delivery delays by 10%. Also made it a priority to provide regular feedback and professional development opportunities for my team members, which helped them grow their skills and advance their careers.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights your leadership style, your ability to implement positive changes, and your commitment to developing your team members.
Right.
Now on to the next question, which takes us back to the global nature of this field. The interviewer might ask, can you describe a time when you had to adapt to a new market or cultural environment? I'm imagining this comes up a lot in import-export.
It's a crucial question. The ability to navigate cultural differences, to be respectful and understanding of diverse customs and communication styles,
Right.
is essential in this globally connected world.
So it's not just about knowing the ins and outs of trade regulations.
Right.
It's about having that cultural intelligence that allows you to build bridges and foster strong relationships across borders.
Exactly. The interviewer is looking for evidence that you can adapt your approach,
Okay.
that you're open-minded and willing to learn from others, and that you can communicate effectively even when faced with language barriers or different ways of doing business.
I'm imagining this question can sometimes feel a bit tricky to answer. Without accidentally sounding insensitive or making generalizations about other cultures,
Right.
what are some tips for striking the right balance?
It's all about being specific and focusing on your own experiences and growth.
Okay.
Share a concrete anecdote about a time you had to adapt your communication style.
Hmm.
Learn about a new custom or navigate a cultural misunderstanding.
Okay.
Talk about the lessons you learned and how those experiences shaped your approach to working with people from diverse backgrounds.
Okay, so it's about highlighting your willingness to learn and your ability to adjust your approach while being mindful and respectful of cultural differences.
Exactly.
What are some things to avoid when answering this question?
Definitely steer clear of making sweeping statements or stereotypes about entire cultures.
Okay.
And avoid phrasing things in a way that suggests you found another culture's customs strange or confusing.
Got it.
Instead, focus on the positive aspects of your cross-cultural experiences and how they've broadened your perspective.
Got it. It's about showcasing your cultural intelligence and your ability to build bridges rather than emphasizing differences.
Right.
Okay. Let's hear that sample response to get the wheels turning.
Let's say the interviewer asks, can you describe a time when you had to adapt to a new market or cultural environment?
Yeah.
You could respond with something like, in my previous role, I was responsible for negotiating contracts with suppliers in China. I quickly realized that building rapport and establishing trust was essential before diving into business discussions.
Okay.
I made an effort to learn about Chinese business etiquette, including the importance of exchanging gifts and engaging in small talk before getting down to negotiations. I also discovered the significance of nonverbal communication and learned to pay attention to subtle cues like body language and facial expressions. This experience taught me the value of taking the time to understand and appreciate cultural nuances, which ultimately helped me build strong and successful relationships with our Chinese partners.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights your cultural sensitivity, your willingness to learn, and your ability to adapt your approach
Yeah.
to achieve positive outcomes.
Right.
Now, before we move on to the final question in this section, I want to touch on something we haven't discussed yet: the potential downsides or challenges of a career in import-export.
Okay.
The career guide mentions that this field can be demanding and stressful at times.
Yes, it can be a very fast-paced field
Yeah.
with tight deadlines, unexpected disruptions, and a lot of pressure to keep those goods flowing smoothly across borders.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to deal with last-minute changes, logistical nightmares,
Right.
or even those occasional moments when things go wrong and you need to think on your feet to find a solution.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
What kind of personality traits or coping mechanisms help someone thrive in this demanding environment?
You need to be resilient, adaptable, and able to handle pressure with grace.
Okay.
Strong problem-solving skills and the ability to stay calm and focused when faced with unexpected challenges are essential. And it's important to have a healthy work-life balance and stress management techniques to avoid burnout.
So it's a career that demands both mental agility and emotional intelligence.
It does.
It sounds like self-care is just as important as technical expertise.
Absolutely. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And taking care of your well-being is crucial for sustaining a successful and fulfilling career in this dynamic field.
Okay, let's tackle the final question in this section, which focuses on your ability to adapt and think creatively. The interviewer might ask something like, can you describe a time when you had to come up with a creative solution to a problem in the import-export process? This is where you get to showcase those problem-solving skills.
It is. This question is all about demonstrating your ability to think outside the box, to find innovative solutions when faced with unexpected obstacles.
Right.
The interviewer wants to see that you're resourceful, that
Okay.
you can analyze a situation, identify potential solutions, and implement the best course of action.
So it's about showing that you're not just a rule follower, but that you can also be a creative problem solver when the situation demands it.
Exactly.
What are some examples of problems that might arise in import-export that would require this kind of creative thinking?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. You might encounter a sudden change in regulations, a natural disaster that disrupts shipping routes, a quality issue with a shipment, or even a cultural misunderstanding that threatens a business deal.
Wow.
The key is to choose an example that highlights your ability to assess the situation, think strategically, and come up with a solution that addresses the root cause of the problem.
Okay, so it's not just about putting out fires.
No.
It's about preventing them from happening in the first place.
Ideally, yes.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid when answering this question?
Don't choose an example that makes you look careless or unprepared.
Right.
Avoid saying things like, I didn't realize that was a requirement, or I just assumed everything would go smoothly. Instead, choose a situation where you faced a genuine challenge, took proactive steps to address it, and learned valuable lessons along the way.
Got it. It's about showcasing your ability to learn and grow from those challenging moments.
It is.
Now, before we dive into that sample response, I'm curious, how does RoleCatcher's AI help with this aspect of interview prep? Can it actually help someone develop their problem-solving skills?
It can. RoleCatcher's AI doesn't just provide sample answers.
Okay.
It also offers personalized feedback and suggestions based on your unique responses.
Okay.
It might suggest alternative approaches, highlight potential blind spots, or even prompt you to consider different perspectives. This interactive feedback helps you refine your problem-solving skills and develop a more strategic mindset.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal problem-solving coach who can help you anticipate challenges and develop a more proactive approach.
It is.
Okay, let's hear that sample response to get those creative juices flowing.
Imagine the interviewer asks, "Can you describe a time when you had to come up with a creative solution to a problem in the import-export process?" You could respond with something like, "In my previous role, we were faced with a sudden increase in shipping costs due to a shortage of container availability. To mitigate the impact on our budget, I explored alternative shipping methods, negotiated with multiple freight forwarders to secure more competitive rates, and worked with our suppliers to optimize packaging and reduce the overall volume of our shipments. By implementing these creative solutions, we were able to reduce our shipping costs by 8% without compromising on delivery times or product quality."
That's a fantastic example.
Yeah.
It showcases your ability to think strategically, to explore multiple options, and to implement practical solutions that deliver tangible results.
Right.
Now, before we wrap up this section, I have one final question that's been on my mind.
Okay.
The career guide emphasizes the importance of ethical considerations in import-export.
Yes.
Why is this aspect so crucial, and how does it impact the day-to-day work of an import-export specialist?
Ethics is absolutely paramount in this field. We're dealing with complex global supply chains,
Right.
diverse cultural perspectives, and a wide range of stakeholders, each with their own interests and priorities. It's crucial to operate with integrity, transparency, and a commitment to fair and responsible business practices.
So it's about more than just making sure the paperwork is in order.
Yes.
It's about making sure your actions align with your values.
Exactly. An ethical import-export specialist considers the social and environmental impacts of their decisions, ensures compliance with labor laws and environmental regulations, and prioritizes building long-term relationships based on trust and mutual respect.
Okay, so it's about taking a holistic view of your role and understanding the ripple effects of your actions on a global scale.
You got it. It's about being mindful of the bigger picture and using your influence to make a positive impact on the world.
That's inspiring. It's a reminder that a career in import-export can be more than just a job.
It can.
It can be a way to contribute to a more sustainable and equitable global economy.
Absolutely. It's a career path that demands both technical expertise and a strong moral compass.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this section, but there's still so much more to explore. Stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive, where we'll wrap up our discussion and offer some final tips and insights to help you not only ace that interview, but embark on a successful and fulfilling career in the exciting world of import-export. Okay, we're back for the final part of our import-export deep dive. We've talked about those interview questions, dug into the career path, and even explored the ethics of this global business.
There's been a lot to cover.
It has. Hopefully you're feeling prepped and ready for that interview.
Yeah.
You've given us a ton to think about.
I hope so.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to touch on some key takeaways.
Sounds good.
Leave our listeners with some lasting words of wisdom.
Huh.
What are the most important things someone should remember when preparing for an import-export interview?
Well, research is key. You want to dive deep into that company's website,
Right.
understand their products, their target markets, familiarize yourself with their values and mission.
Okay.
This shows you're genuinely interested and that you've taken the time to prepare.
So it's not just about showcasing your skills, it's about demonstrating your enthusiasm
Yeah,
for that specific company
exactly.
and how you can add to their success.
You got it. And remember, tailoring your responses to align with the company's needs and values is crucial. This is where RoleCatcher's AI can really be a game changer.
Right.
By analyzing the job description and the company's online presence, RoleCatcher can help you identify key themes and tailor your answers to resonate with the interviewer.
It's like having your own personal research assistant
It is.
and a career coach in one.
Yes. And don't forget, practice your answers out loud.
Right.
This helps you refine your delivery, identify any areas where you might stumble, and boost your overall confidence.
Speaking of confidence, I am so impressed by RoleCatcher and the personalized guidance and support it provides.
Yes.
It's more than just a job search tool. It's truly a partner in your career journey.
I couldn't agree more. It's designed to empower job seekers, to give them the tools and insights they need to not only land the job, but thrive in their chosen field.
Okay, before we say goodbye, I want to leave our listeners with one last thought-provoking question.
All right.
We've discussed all those different career paths within import-export.
We have.
But what about the future of this whole field? What are some emerging trends or challenges that someone entering this career should be prepared for?
That's a great question. The import-export landscape is always evolving,
It is.
driven by things like globalization,
Yeah.
technological advancements, and shifting consumer demands.
Yeah.
One major trend is the rise of e-commerce
Oh, yeah.
and the increasing demand for cross-border fulfillment.
Right.
This creates both opportunities and challenges for import-export professionals,
Mhm.
requiring them to adapt to new technologies,
Right.
manage those complex logistics networks, and ensure compliance with a growing web of international regulations.
So it's a field that demands both agility and a forward-thinking mindset.
Absolutely. And as sustainability becomes more and more important for businesses and consumers, import-export professionals will play a crucial role in ensuring ethical sourcing,
Okay.
reducing environmental impact, and promoting fair trade practices.
It sounds like the future of import-export is all about embracing innovation, navigating complexity, and upholding ethical principles.
You got it. It's an exciting and dynamic field
It is.
with tons of possibilities for those who are passionate about global business and making a positive impact on the world.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way,
Yes, it is.
providing the tools and guidance you need to navigate this ever-changing landscape.
Right.
I think it's time to wrap things up.
Okay.
We've covered so much in this deep
A
dive,
lot of information.
and I hope you're walking away feeling inspired and informed, ready to conquer that interview.
Remember, knowledge is power. And with the insights you've gained from RoleCatcher's guides, you're well on your way to success.
I said it better myself. So, everyone listening, don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. It's your secret weapon for landing that dream job in the exciting world of import-export. Good luck with that interview. You've got this.